Welcome back to a new episode of my podcast. This is episode number 8, and don't worry if you don't see me at the moment. This is all deliberate. I thought, you see me all the time during the interview. Why not show you a few other views at the moment just for this short little intro? Initially, our guest for today's show was Peter Mario Catona from the Royal Opera Covent Garden in London. Unfortunately, Peter could not participate in the interview. And now we have Yury Revich, this young and extremely talented violinist. He's Austrian, he's of Russian descendants, as you would guess by his name. And he is, as I'm going to say in a few moments also in the interview, our youngest participant in this series of interviews about the pandemic. And I thought it would be really interesting to have not only for the first time an instrumentalist on the show, but also a younger person, because I'm sure that you out there who are under 30, you lived the pandemic in a very different way than people like me at age 60 or others do. And it would be interesting to have those points of view. And I can tell you as much. The interview has become really interesting, and we enjoyed a lot to talk and speak about those situations that we all go through. All right, so that was it for the intro. See, it's short, so why don't I show you a few nice pictures of Yury Revich and of Vienna while you hear my voice. And now we are going to enter the interview right away. Just before that, next time we will meet in 4 weeks again. Our next show is due on June the 13th. And until then, I wish you a good time, and especially now, a good time with the interview with violinist Yury Revich. I'm very happy today to welcome a really very, very talented musician here with us. He is the youngest who has ever been on this podcast. It's Yury Revich, now world famous violinist, and we are very happy to have him here, also living here in Vienna. He is Austrian, and he is with us here today on my podcast is recording. Hello, Yury. Very nice to have you with us here tonight.
Hi, Rudolph. Thank you for having me. Very
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you. Well, not only you are the youngest so far on this podcast, but also the first instrumentalist. We try to have actors, we try to have directors, producers, singers, conductors, and now the first instrumentalist, because of course everyone in these difficult months, and well, now we must already say almost years. It's been a year and a half that the life of so many artists has dramatically changed due to the COVID pandemic. So we would like to have also a point of view of somebody like you, an instrumentalist who I believe has been traveling extensively over the last years before all that happened. And I imagine that your life has changed quite a bit. And we are all interested to hear how this has changed your approach as an artist, but also as a human being, to what you have been doing, what you are doing, and also how maybe you will doing it a bit differently. I don't know, maybe not in the future. So my first question is, what is different in your life today than it was a year ago?
Well, a year ago, actually, it was quite similar because the
Yeah,
pandemic's been already more than a year.
sure, sure.
But let's say a year ago, it was very new. Well, definitely it's very different. I mean, I'm used to travel a lot. I'm used to, perform in different stages internationally. My basically my job is to travel and to
Mm,
meet people constantly, and I don't have that right now. And it's of course very challenging, and indeed it's very somehow it's I mean it's completely unnatural for me.
yeah.
But I mean, what can I do? I mean, just have to accept these things are, stay optimistic and positive, and
Mm,
try to move on the best way as possible.
sure, like we all have to somehow. You just
Definitely.
said something, I don't even know if you realize, but I would like to pick you up on that. You said, I'm used to travel and meet a lot of people. And I'm also interested, we're going into the music part a bit later, but you are used to meet many people from different countries, from different backgrounds. So the social life has also changed completely, right?
Definitely, I'm kind of person, kind of an artist, which gets a lot of inspiration from communicating with others, and
Hmm.
just exchanging the energy, ideas, exchanging the inspirations, the views, and definitely for me, of course, it was very, yeah. Suddenly, this cut was very shocking, and also about music making. For me, it's meeting my audience, even if I don't meet them in person. I don't say hi and a shake hand of each person in the audience.
Sure.
I meet them from the point of stage and the point of exchanging an energy and inspiration in this moment in time,
Hmm.
which we have during the shows or concerts.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's what as well. I mean,
Does this change for you the way you approach music now? I mean, have you more interiorized? I don't know. Just now imagining, but has it changed the way you make music at this very moment? I'm not talking about performing, about making music, right?
right. Well, it's actually good that you ask question about making music, because there is one thing that pandemic definitely changed for me. It gave me a lot of so-called free time,
Hmm.
and the time which usually I'd be traveling, which I'd be usually performing for people. And for me, since I'm a child, since I was teenager as a child, I always wanted to be a composer as well,
Okay.
and I always have music in my head.
Hmm. Hmm.
I always have sounds in my head. So during the night, when I sleep, when I'm on the street, when I'm talking with people, I always have some background music.
Okay.
And this music is my own most of the time. And now, since a year, I finally have time to write this down and make music, as you say, actually make my own music, create my
Okay.
own pieces. And that's definitely what's been a major change. And that's actually positive change for me.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, that's interesting. At least something that is an
At least,
advantage.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And what about? I mean, the performances I gather have been maybe partly online. I don't know if you have done online performances yourself. Have you made that experience as well?
Yeah, I mean, thanks God, we live in the era where we have technology and we can connect one with another
Mm.
via internet. Yeah, definitely. It's amazing. And it's great that we could share some online concerts one with another as well. But what's the difference of an online concert and a YouTube video? I mean, YouTube videos are out there for free. Anyone can watch them.
Yeah.
And this is great because it's making classical music, for example, if we speak about classical music, it's making it more popular.
Hmm.
But in the same time, if you want to make money and everybody's trying to do online concerts and sell tickets for 5 to 10 euros, why they will buy tickets when they can go and hear exactly the same piece of classical music by another thousand of artists on YouTube for free.
True.
I don't say that online concerts are bad. It's not the structure which really has huge potential, I think, right now.
I agree. Have you performed online together with other artists, but who were in a different location? So to speak, like I saw something where a quartet was sitting in four different
Mhm.
rooms, basically, and play together. Did you make that experience as well?
This is really cool. Definitely, I did not make this experience, but I am gonna make this experience
Okay.
this coming November. But it's not connected to pandemic.
Hmm.
It's a concert which I dedicate to climate change and awareness, and we'll have a projection on the stage with the real life audience in Vienna, and the same time stage projection with the real life audience in San Francisco, and I will perform with Telegraph Quartet,
Uh-huh.
Vivaldi simultaneously.
Okay.
And that has nothing to do with pandemic though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that is an interesting point because we in this podcast mostly speak about the pandemic, but of course we like to speak about other, not problems, but other solutions rather for the questions of
Exactly.
our time. And here you are touching a subject that is indeed something that has been brought up also during the pandemic when people say, well, what will happen? Will people return to the old ways, not just in music performance, but also in traveling for business meetings and stuff? And or are there other ways to do it? So what you're proposing here is definitely another way to do it. Do you think those things will become more and more, let's say, popular?
Definitely. I think we should not let any artificial intelligence, any technology replace live music experience, live art, theater, whatever.
Hmm.
But definitely we can use the benefits of this and add it to the existing, to the what we have already, to the live shows,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And I think to combine wisely and to use the benefits of the progress and technology and combine it with the tradition and the real art, which is live art in my case, particularly as a musician, then I think then we can benefit a lot, definitely. And pandemic taught us few things, how to use these technology things.
Yeah.
Many classical musicians are completely not aware of how to use microphone, how to set up a video, an audio at home. We are all, I mean, many of us are really close-minded. We just play our violin and trumpet at home to 10 hours a day, had no idea about the outer world. And now we know how to use this software, we know how to record music, how to do live on Instagram, etc.
That is definitely true. I have made that experience also a lot, that
Mhm.
unfortunately classical musicians are sometimes a bit technology shy, let's be kind, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
don't look enough into that. But I'm interested because I mean you are basically half my age, right? I have been around in the music business for more than 40 years, and
Oh,
of
wow.
course for me it's a bit harder to imagine change, even though I'm doing a podcast like that, so I'm technologically interested and also can handle
Mhm.
it. But for example, in Miami, there has been a concert hall. I don't know if you have performed there, which has been built, I believe, 10 years or so ago, which already was equipped with all what you need for doing those online concerts.
Mhm.
They even can screen, they have screens on the walls already in the hall that can be used for that. And nobody
Right.
spoke about it. And now suddenly things like that come up.
This is the thing now, right?
Right? Do you think now, honestly, in the deep of your heart, do you think as a young person that this will create the same type of audience, or will we lose a live audience for the live performances because there is that alternative model? What do you think?
No, I mean, that's exactly the strategy to use it wisely. I mean, we have a situation of pandemic right now. Okay,
Mm,
that's extraordinary situation. Of course, we are adjusting, we're learning how to do with it. But after all pandemics, you can look at hundreds years before, yeah, and the humanity is recovering, right?
yeah,
Sooner or later, and we have technology, we've done some progress, we have vaccination, we'll get recovered at some
yeah,
point.
sure.
Maybe it will be this year, maybe in 2 years, but within next few years, definitely there will be major change to normality. And the way we'll have all this technology, and if we use it wisely in a way that there is a live concert as it's been always, but it also has a live online possibility to watch it live. That's great because it hopefully will be sold out with live audience, but in the same time people across the globe, people who have no money to travel to this concert, they'll still hear and watch this live.
Mm,
This I see as a good thing, definitely,
yeah.
but it can't and should not replace any. It should not replace the life experience.
Yeah,
Never.
exactly. How can we avoid that? Because that's the danger I see. I mean, now talking about theater, for example, there has been this extraordinary offer over the last year or so that people can go online to see a performance in Hamburg, so, for example, at the theater, which they would normally never attend because it's just too
Mhm.
far away. And I see now that theaters are going to open again here in Vienna, and hopefully this month or later, next month. Then um, I have some friends who say, "Well, I will continue to buy online tickets for, say, Berlin or Hamburg because I'm interested in that, and I don't need to go out. I can stay at home and watch that on my screen." And that makes me think, hmm, what does
Well,
that
they're
mean?
stupid. They're stupid. I mean, hello, like it's the same. Then you go to watch YouTube video. I mean, what's the point? I mean, I think people like this, it's definitely a wrong point of view, and we should present it the way that, as you said, there is a show in Hamburg. You watch it now from Vienna, and then you like it a lot, and you consider for the next time to travel to Hamburg and watch it live. So you should use this opportunity to promote life experience actually, but not replace it.
And now I'm asking you a tricky one though, because you said the concert that you do in November. That's of course also because of climate change, and that's a good thing. Also, we should
Mhm.
be very thoughtful about that. Now, but when we say, well, why don't you travel to Hamburg to go to the theater? What do you reply to somebody who will then tell you, well, why do you take a plane to go to Hamburg to go to the
Why
theater?
do you take plane? Why do you take plane?
Well, or even the train. I mean, you have to travel. It
Why
is
not?
it is
Why not?
something, right?
I'm taking trains all the time.
Mm,
They're opening Vienna Paris night connection.
yeah,
I'm taking trains. I can work in train. I write in trains. Write.
yeah.
I write also as a hobby, like things like stories and stuff.
Hmm.
I can use the time. Trains are healthier for people. I mean,
Definitely.
the faster trains every like few years. There's new options, new traces,
Hmm.
etc.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
of course, important thing is, of course, it's part of my job traveling and using planes. I can't avoid that, but you can always try to be carbon neutral and reduce it as possible.
Hmm.
There is a progress in technology and things we will have to always deal with. We cannot say no to plane travel, but we can reduce this first when possible, and second, try to be carbon neutral and to compensate where possible what we just wasted for the atmosphere. And instead of this, I mean, and extra to this, we'll do a little fundraiser or invest money to planting trees or stuff like this. These kind of things, they're different, but all this makes a change. It slows down the climate change, definitely.
Hmm. Hmm. But I think that's why I'm happy we go on that subject, because it's an important matter, and I agree with you. The pandemic will be over in a year or two, but we will still have the other problems to deal with, and this is an important one,
Definitely.
right? Right.
We always have some problems to deal with. That's
Definitely,
okay.
definitely. Now, in your personal life, I mean, of course, that's very much linked to your artistic life. But in your personal life, has the pandemic affected you? Has it changed the way you communicate with other people, your friendships? Did it affect or change that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, generally, I always, it's nothing special what I'm gonna say, but I did not shake any hand of a human being for a few months before someone gave me a hand in October, I think, and I
Mm.
was shocked. And then I felt the handshake of the person, and I felt, "Oh, this is a really weird feeling. I have someone's hand on my hand,
Mm.
like the skin connection and everything, like with the other person. That felt really weird, and it scared me because it felt weird. So
Okay.
definitely, this is something which is, of course, really bad. I mean,
Hmm.
that we are trying to avoid each other physically. Even now, for example, I'm vaccinated, but still automatically on the street, if I pass by a big group of people outdoors, I try to like go on the side, and I see
Yeah.
they're trying to also like,
And you see
this
exactly, you
is
see it in
very,
the reaction of people. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, this is unfortunately unconsciously already it's trained. Like psychologists say that for a human being, it's enough 4 to 6 months to get used to something.
Mm.
And this is really bad. Like we basically already will never be the same as before, for sure. We'll just try
Yeah.
to adjust. We'll
Yeah.
need to adjust kind of back, but this kind of thing, this scar will remain.
Yes, and the scar, I think, is the important thing. I know what those psychologists say, and they are certainly right. They know what they're saying, but something in the subconscious does not react the same way. And
Mhm.
as you said, you were scared yourself that somebody gave you a hand, right? And that's the scary thing, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
scared that
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 you were
was felt
scared.
weird for me. So
Yes, sure.
exactly, like what is going on? This is so wrong. I mean,
Mm,
literally, I can just disinfect this hand anyway. Whatever, like whatever.
sure.
But yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, it's of course definitely something. Yeah, definitely inconvenient. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, have you been traveling at all outside Austria over the last 6 or 8 months?
Yeah, actually, I did. I was lucky enough and I could travel a bit in autumn and
Hmm.
early winter.
Hmm.
I had some work to do, and yeah, that's like the case where I could travel, of course, with all the crazy papers and everything and
That,
bureaucrocy,
that I
which
was going to
half
ask,
of it makes no
how was
sense.
that? How was that? I mean, the feeling
Yeah.
of traveling like that. I mean, you're too young to remember the times when we had border controls between all the European countries, but um,
Well, no, I mean, I was born in Moscow, so when I
yeah.
was a kid, I mean, yeah, I remember that,
Mm,
and definitely, therefore, I kind of could relate,
mm,
but of course, it's ridiculous. I mean, it
yeah.
makes no sense. Also, most of it.
Now, upcoming plans. What are the next plans that you have where you say, okay, I really hope that or I know, or well, as much as we can know, that this is going to happen and that concert life will come back to me. What's coming up for you?
Right. Yeah, I mean, whatever I'm saying right now, hopefully it's taking place,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So many, I mean, there's many. I was supposed to have really nice debuts this spring with great major orchestras, and they
Mm,
moved most of them, which is great. So I hope that will begin 22, 23.
yeah.
Well, I'm mostly excited, I think, is about my first Chinese tour
Okay.
with Stuttgart Chamber Orchestra.
Hmm.
Then also excited my Japanese tour, end of 22.
Hmm.
My German tour, hopefully this autumn, and yeah, and my project Friday Nights with Yury, which we keep doing
Hmm.
in Vienna, where we bring all kinds of arts together with
Yeah,
music
yeah.
and work also with actors, singers,
Tell us a bit more about that
and that's
because I
yeah.
mean we are broadcasting from Vienna, but not everybody listening to this knows about this. Can you just
Yeah.
say one line more about that?
Yeah, the Friday Nights is a baby of mine. I call it because it's my project of my full passion.
Hmm.
We started 5 years ago. We have music in the middle of the event, and we also invite artists from the theater, from dance, from art, and from sensory experience. We can create a perfume
Hmm.
or diffuse a special scent in the air. So the idea is that music inspires all other art forms, and these art forms inspire music.
Hmm.
And it's kind of a salon feeling. We do different locations a few times a year.
Right.
And yeah,
And
if
how big is
you
the
watch
room?
it, feel free to visit the website. The room's different. We did from the amount of 80 people do the biggest event of this concept was at Theater an der Wien,
Hmm.
which was 1,000, I think.
Wow.
And we did a few times Bramsaal and Musikverein, which was 600. But actually, I prefer to keep it sometimes smaller because then we can play really with senses,
Yeah.
with details, and
Yeah.
each member audience gets kind of a really like just very personalized, immersive experience.
I'm curious because that's also why I wanted you to describe what it is. When you do a concert or an event like that now, and you have only, it's not about the numbers of people, but also you have to do that distancing in the halls, right?
Hmm.
Because that's the rule now in order
That's
to be
correct.
open to do those things. In such a special salon feeling that you want to give, how will you cope with that? How will you counteract as to make it the same experience for the audience?
We did that last Friday night was in September last year. It was a little window when it was a bit
Yeah.
easier. It was possible to do concerts, and we did it. And we had to keep 1 meter distance between audience members.
Hmm.
And it felt in the beginning it felt weird, but then when people stand up and they wear masks, they still communicate one with another. You can't stop that. I mean, if someone from police is listening to this, we tried, we said them, keep distance. I mean,
Yeah.
we did what we could.
Sure.
People were happy, so happy just to come to the live concert,
I'm sure. Yeah.
and that and we did our best. Musicians were happy. It was just such a great energy. So in the end, this distance, 1 meter distance thing, kind of faded away.
Yeah. 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 But that's what I thought because that's a typical type of event which is difficult to manage. But I believe even in
Mm,
theaters or concert halls, it's difficult to imagine that you're sitting there with 2 meters next to the same person. It's a weird feeling for the audience as well. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you started finally writing music, a plan you had for some time, I
Mhm.
believe. Um, what other positive experiences, not only for you personally, but other things that you could observe in the music world did happen and come out of the pandemic? Any other?
I think people understood that it's not all about career.
Hmm.
Like there are many people who are so concentrated on their career, as I said, being in a box, doing like playing their violin 20 hours a day, and just thinking, okay, I played here, I played there. Like what does he do? What does she do?
Hmm.
People understood like there are things bigger than that, like bigger than their little path
Hmm.
they're doing, and that we're all in the same boat, and actually we should listen to ourselves more, listen to other people more, understand, appreciate what we had, and understand how privileged we were. Like also me as a kind of still young artist,
Oh, yeah,
I
sure.
understood how privileged I was with the career I had before pandemic, and I hope and I'll appreciate much more now after. And
Yeah.
these kind of things, I think appreciation of life, appreciation of time, and
Hmm.
appreciation of privilege we have. It's something very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, I can understand what you mean. Maybe also even from time to time to be able to take a break and not run for the next plane or train, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Final question, because that's just something I find interesting. And how you would deal with that. Of course, I've spoken to conductors who say it's very weird because they haven't stood in standing in front of an orchestra for a year,
Yeah.
and of course they train and keep physically in shape. Same for singers. What about the instrumentalist? Is it harder for you to keep doing your exercise, your daily exercises, because you don't know when the next show is going to happen, next appearance, live appearance, or is it just the same type of work for you when you
But
exercise?
definitely not the same. I mean,
Mm,
I consider myself as an artist and not a robot.
yeah,
So I try to, to get inspired, and my first
sure.
inspiration comes from concerts. And as I mentioned before, becoming more concentrating this past months, past year on being a composer helped me also not to lose inspiration to play my instrument.
Okay,
I just advanced now a little bit my skills as a pianist as well. I'm very bad
okay.
pianist, but I now
Hmm.
I started play again. When I was
Hmm.
child, I was quite good.
Hmm.
And of course, to compose, I need to play, and I take my violin every time I compose.
Yeah,
And like this, I play, and then I play something else, and then I practice. So I'm kind of always warmed up
in
with
it.
my
Yeah.
instrument, and
Hmm.
that was my way.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, that, yeah, important because
Definitely, definitely,
we all hope a bit more regular concert life will come back soon for all of us, right?
it will.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Yuri, for your time. Thank you for talking
Thank
to
you,
us here
Rodolphe.
today. And well, I don't know if maybe you have your final word for our audience that you would like, some message that you would like to pass on.
Message? Well, I don't know. Just stay positive and be open-minded, and don't forget about live concerts. They're coming back.
That's a good one. Absolutely. Thank you, Yury Revich, and good luck for all that's coming up for you.
Thanks a lot.